Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Malik, and I'm here to show you the best grow gear you need to succeed in 2026. So all the gear in this video I'm going to be showing you are things that I've used in the past, that I still use to this day, and things that have held their own till now. So let's get into this. So the first tent I ever bought to grow in was the Mars Hydro 3x3. This thing right here holds it down. It's a tried and true tent. Honestly, you don't really need much more than this, depending on your space, your budget. I'm keeping a budget of under $1,000, so this kind of tent, this small 3x3 tent, would work wonders, whatever you're growing. You can probably grow up to like 12 plants in there. I used to only grow, from when I first started out, I started growing 4 plants, but I kind of cut it back because 4 was a lot to handle. So with that Mars Hydro 3x3, to pair that up with, I would get, again, sticking with the Mars Hydro, I guess, just because it's budget friendly, I would get the Mars Hydro TS1000. Now it's a 150 watt light. It does the job. It can get you through flowering. I use this. This is the light that I used. I use this from veg to flower to the whole cycle. You know what I mean? From seedling, veg, and flower, I was using this thing, and it was holding it down. It was holding it down. Now, are you gonna get the fattest, most dense buds? No, you will not, but it's somewhere to get you started, and that's kind of where you want to be at, you know what I mean, when you're first starting out. Kind of keep it simple. Hold it down. It's a light that I was using for a long time until I upgraded. I got the 3000, the Mars Hydro TS 3000, and then I got an AC Infinity, but we're gonna talk about that later. So with those two things, that's already gonna get you in a pretty good spot. And I believe for the light and the tent itself, you at $329. You at $330, and you're already doing pretty good. So after the light, what you're gonna need, very importantly, is an inline fan. Whether you're pairing that with a charcoal filter to reduce smell, depending on where you are. You know what I mean? If you're a person who lives alone in an apartment and everybody in that place smokes cigarettes and weed and all that, then you don't need no filter, and you don't care about the smell, you don't need a filter. If you live somewhere where you don't necessarily care about the smell, but other people do, I would get a filter, a charcoal filter. Adding on a charcoal filter is gonna be probably about another $100, but hey, it's gonna save you a lot in the long run. So what I would suggest though, first starting, I would get the Cloudline T4 humidity fan with the VPD controller. It's very important that you get the VPD controller with this, because that controller is gonna save you in the future if you're going to upgrade with other AC Infinity stuff. And it kind of gives you an idea of what VPD is, and you're able to watch the humidity and the temperature just from the VPD controller itself. So this thing right here, I would 100% suggest getting. It's one of the first ones I bought, and to this day, it holds it down. So after the inline fan and a filter, if you're going with the filter, it's kind of optional, but for me it's not that optional. The filter is kind of a requirement. So right there, I believe you're around what? Let's do the calculation. Where's my phone? Let's do the calculation. So for 329 plus 119, you got 448. $448 deep. You got a tent, a light, and an inline fan. You're doing pretty well. You know what I mean? You don't have to get everything all at one time. So after the fan, you're going to need a humidifier. A humidifier is very important, especially for young plants and going into the flowering stage. Like, This is something you're gonna need for the dry, the flower, the seedling stage, the veg stage. This is an important piece of equipment you're gonna need. Honestly, everything I say is an important piece of equipment. It's just not everything I was using right away. I'm gonna tell you the things you can kind of get away with depending on your environment, to save some money. So the humidifier, the AC Infinity, the AC Infinity CloudForge T3 is one I would suggest going with this Mars Hydro 3x3. It's a small humidifier. It holds enough water. It holds about a little bit more than a gallon. 4.5 liters. It's a little bit more than a gallon. It's a great humidifier. After that, now this might get a little controversial. I don't think this is controversial at all. This is not controversial. Some people, home growers, a lot of home growers, sometimes avoid this step. And I know it's extremely important to know what your pH is. So get you a pH meter. Get you a pH meter. This is the one I was using, the VivoSun 3-in-1 digital pH meter. It's not the best. It's not the best. It'll do the job though for a little bit, not the longest. It'll do the job for a while. I had one for probably 3 or 4 years before it started acting out of whack, and then it was like, all right, this is definitely not working. And then I upgraded to a better one, a Blue Lab pen. The Blue Lab is, all right, I'll show you the Blue Lab pen. Hold up. But this pen is a very expensive piece of equipment. Yeah, I believe it was this one. This is the one I use. It is expensive, as you see, it's $173, but this is probably one of the last pH pens you'd have to buy. This thing right here is, the professionals use this. I am a professional. I'm a professional cannabis grower, and this is what we were using in the facility. It's what I use at home. And it's just, it holds it down. Now there is another brand that I would suggest, I can't remember the name of it, but it's also another very good one. It's not cheap either. It's probably more expensive than the Blue Lab pen, but this pen in itself was hold it down. But if you're on a budget, dude, don't even bother. You don't gotta worry about this. You know what I'm saying? Just get you the VivoSun. It'll hold you down. It'll get the job done. I would suggest getting a separate EC meter. This thing tells you how much, basically how much nutrients you have available to your plant when you mix it in the water. You know what I mean? When you mix it in the water, this thing lets you know how much EC is in there, how high your EC is. Electrical conductivity, I believe it's called. So I'm not 100% sure how it's really testing it. I just know how it works and how to read it. So EC meter, 100% you need. It's about $50. It's essential. It's an essential piece of equipment when you're mixing nutrients and you want to know what's going into your plant or what's going into your soil so you don't burn your plants or you're not underfeeding. It's an essential piece of equipment. Same with the pH pen. This pH pen right here, or this one, the Blue Lab one, is an essential piece of equipment. You can grow without it, but you're gonna have a very hard time. It's not gonna be fun. I would go on to, what medium are you trying to grow in? Now, for a beginner, for starters, I would kind of avoid hydroponics right now. I would completely avoid hydroponics. It is a lot easier to control, and not necessarily, it's not easier for the new grower, it's easier for an experienced grower that knows how pH drifts, how EC drifts, exactly how much You know what I mean? At what feeding cycle is at? Where is it at in its life cycle? So those are things that an experienced grower would know that I would just avoid for a new grower. So I would, for a new grower, here's what I was using. For a new grower, I was using this Fox Farm Happy Frog potting soil. Hey, let me tell you, this potting soil was holding it down. This thing is pretty good. It has mycorrhizae in the soil, and that's just like a fungus that helps the plant roots interact with nutrients and sugars. It's a very, I'm not gonna say essential. It's essential to life in general, but not essential to cannabis growing indoors. Like, but you will notice a difference if you don't have it versus if you do have it. So, but that's for another day. Additives and nutrients, that video is for a whole other day. I'm just talking about something to get you started. All right. So you can go with the Fox Farm Happy Frog. That's what I was using in the beginning. But I could probably suggest, if you want to get your hands, if you want something kind of close to a hydroponic experience, I would suggest going with the Pro Mix. It's not quite like soil. It's similar, but the Pro Mix is high porosity. This basically means it allows more air into the soil. There is perlite. There's way more perlite in this. In the Fox Farm nutrients, there is a lot of like natural matter, like sticks, you know what I mean, little twigs, sometimes like little rocks, like really small rocks. But there is perlite as well, just not as much perlite as the Pro Mix. And I would suggest using the Pro Mix for a new grower because it's really hard to mess up. It's very easy to grow with versus soil. For me, when I was first starting out, soil was a little bit difficult for me. I was kind of burning my plants, but I also didn't know to mix nutrients at the time. And the soil itself it's almost like a sponge. Think of it like a sponge. The soil is going to hold on to so much water. Like, it's going to suck up so much more water versus Pro Mix. Pro Mix is peat moss, and peat moss is what is peat moss? Let's look it up. It's a type of it's a type of medium that you can grow in, and it works really well. It has high aeration, basically just allows more air to pass through. It dries out a lot faster than soil. Soil is going to take a while to dry out, especially if you overwater your plants. You're going to be very sorry if you overwatered your plants in Fox Farm. Happy in the Pro Mix, you can, I won't say you can get away with it, but it just allows for the plant to breathe more. It allows for the roots to reach in deeper. So that's just one I would suggest. The Pro Mix, I grew with it 1 year, and then after that I was like, dude, this is the way I'm growing forever. Well, maybe not forever, just if I'm going to do something soil or soilless, I'm going peat moss. Anyways, sticking with or going back to the environment, if I was to buy a new fan for a 4x4, I would probably just get an AC Infinity. Why? These things are pretty legendary. They're oscillating, meaning they turn throughout, and they're very easy to take apart and clean. I have about 2 of them right now, and I haven't had any real issues with them. They haven't broken on me yet. If you're going with any other type of clip fan, there's many different types of clip fans, and a lot of them do tend to kind of break. So it's kind of up to you. You know what I mean? I've gone through many clip fans in my growing cycle, and I think I've been growing for like 8 years now. 8 years. Yeah, in the last 8 years, I've gone through a lot of fans. Out of all the equipment that I've had to buy, again, fans have been the most annoying equipment to buy again, especially when they stop working. So get you a nice AC Infinity Cloud Ray S4. This thing I've had for 4 or 5 months now, 6 months now, no issue. Every other fan that I've had within 6 to 7 months broken. So I guess we're still seeing, you know what I mean? We're still testing it out. I'll let you know if they ever break on me, but it's been about six months and I haven't had an issue. So yeah, so I believe those are all the items that I would end up buying, and I believe in total, if you were to buy everything that I told you to buy, I believe you only come to about $700 to $800, around $840, $740, and that's about how much I spent when I first started growing. Not counting seeds and not counting, like, say, an AC unit, a humidifier, a dehumidifier unit, which something you might need, you know what I mean? These things you may or may not need depending on your environment. If you live in a drier environment, you are going to need a humidifier. If you know that your environment is sitting around 30% humidity, 30% RH, 40% RH, you're going to need a humidifier. 50% RH, okay, you can get away with that in, I believe in the end of flower, but if you're trying to grow that throughout its whole life cycle at like 40% RH, you're gonna see you're gonna run into a lot of issues and a lot of problems. So try to keep your RH and your environment in check, because that's one of the most important parts when growing, is keeping the environment and plants in check. I guess that's growing in general, but keeping the environment in check just helps the plants prosper and grow. They don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, so that's all that I have for this video. This is all the equipment that I've used. We do have this Hisense dehumidifier. This is one that I've been using the last couple months, but I only really use this when it gets really humid in like the summers or something like that. Other than that, winter time, it's being packed up, you know what I mean? So yeah, these are the things that I was using when I first started growing. And if you have any questions, if you want to know anything more, leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer them. If you want to learn how to grow, check out my channel. I got videos of teaching you how to grow, showing you how to grow, or even just showing you little methods that I was doing. I'm an experienced grower now, you know what I'm saying? I got some time under my belt. But yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, actually leave a like, subscribe to see more, because I'm going to be uploading way more videos. This is just what I'm working on right now. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to see more once again, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a nice day, and you take care of yourself, man. So I'll see you again soon. Deuces.